welcome. This is Love Knows Best here, and I'm here to do a review on Uncle Tom. A new documentary or whatever movie, a film, I'm going to call it. Can't call it documentary because it ain't really talking about history. We don't call it a film because that talks about black conservatism and why they are called Uncle Toms. I guess why black people are called Uncle Toms. Let me tell you something. What did I think? I'm gonna start. I don't even know how to start with this film. Um, I think the best way to start with my opinion of the movie in itself is I thought it was made well for people who are not filmmakers, but it's really articulately made. They make up good points that are really good. Good points like the intellectuals, black intellectuals that are in existence today are not well known in the academic world because they don't follow in line with the slave mentality we got going around today. The victimhood mentality, which technically the same thing as slave mentality, is technically the same thing. It's just a new word to replace the word first. They replace slave with victim, and they're technically the same thing. It's reason I wouldn't say this is inspirational, but it draws you to talk about it. And my thing is here. There's certain things I see in this that make me want to discuss some things that come up. And I watched it twice, and I might need to watch it 3 times in order to get it stuck in my head because I tend to forget some things. I don't think anybody ever should be called a derogatory name just because they disagree with you. Period. End of story. End of discussion. But that's what the reality is. We got a bunch of Klan members dressed in black. Black Klan members who act just like the Klan. What they don't realize is they're a bunch of blind sheep being led astray by evil people that have infiltrated both the media and political leadership to brainwash the masses. Now they got you thinking that the other side's brainwashing, but they don't have control of education system, politics, and medicine. Man, of the matter is this. We live in America where people are free, supposedly free of thought, free to choose what they want to do with their life. Anybody who comes against that freedom isn't for anybody's good but their own selves. It's what we call authoritarianism. They think they have the authority to tell everybody else what to do, and that is a crime. There's too many people in America who think they have moral authority to tell other people what is morally right and what is morally wrong, and they have no authority to do so. It's an illusion. Moral authority is an illusion. The only one who has authority is God. The only one who has moral authority is God. Everybody else has morals. The ultimate moral authority comes to God, and anything other than that is a lie. It's error. Anything outside of God's authority is error. Again, if it's not applied to the Bible. First, you need to apply the Bible to whatever you believe is right or wrong. And then that's where you make your decision. Anything outside of that is not right. God create morals. You do know that. So the Bible needs to be the first thing you look at when you're deciding what's right and wrong. And that goes for Christians. That's mainly for Christians primarily. But back to the film. What I think I went to say to all the people being called Uncle Thomas, bootleggers, house. Name was his last word. Let me tell you some a message. Positive one. You don't need to worry about dead people's opinion. I said dead people's opinion because they're spiritually dead. Their opinion does not matter in the long run. By the end of the day, they are just misguided people outside the will of God. You know, in fact, they don't know what love is because they never lived in it. They never experienced it a day in their life. They don't know what real love is and how to express it properly. They only love those who love them. That is a weak standard of love. They don't follow the law. You know the Bible. I know y'all are Christians. Y'all know the law of love. You know the Bible says to love your enemies and pray for them. Do not curse, but bless. Trust me. Trust me. Everything you need to know, every message you need to know, comes from the Bible. Jesus said, consider it all joy that you are persecuted. Because it's when you know you're doing what is right. If you're persecuted for what is right, you need to rejoice. Because don't let that bother you. If what you're saying is true and it's according to the Bible, you ain't got to worry about nobody coming against you. People are going to come against you because you're saying what's right according to the Bible. It's biblical. They're going to come after you. Be sure to know that. You should be expecting it. Because that is what the Bible says. People say that the people do not like the truth. They reject the truth for a lie. Calling what is good evil and evil good. Exchanging sweet for bitter and bitter for sweet. It's topsy-turvy day. And calling what is unjust just, and what is just unjust, it does not work in their favor. Perversing justice for their own type of justice. A lot of stuff they say in here I do sort of agree with. The Democratic Party, here's the thing when it comes to both parties. There are some good and bad on both sides. Duh. I think everybody knows that. But the thing is, you can't assume that every Democrat is evil. No more than you can assume that every Republican is evil. There are some modern Democrats out there that probably having to sit on the other side because their views are a little bit too modern for the Democrats of today. Let me tell you something. People, I wasn't gonna save this for another video, but I'm gonna say it today. People going around crying about everything being racist, everything that's that and the other. You know, we are seeing the consequences of this playing out right now, where they're removing stuff from black stuff from shelves. Because we let other people tell us what racism is and not knowing it for ourselves. When you tell somebody else it's their job to help you get ahead, you giving them the power. It ain't the other way around. You telling them that you need their help to get ahead. You now put the power in their hands. How you gonna give you power if you are giving them the power back? You talk about, oh, the white man got all this power over you. Let me tell you something. That's because you keep giving it to them. Like, you tell a white person, you need their help. They get help to succeed You have given the power back. They can't give you something you're going to give back to them. Your first step is to take responsibility for your own self. Then you will have power enough to succeed. Bible says, I have given everyone the ability to gain wealth. And to say otherwise is calling God a liar. He also said that you are the head and not the tail. Saying otherwise is calling him a liar. When you say things that are opposite of what God says, you are calling God a liar. Say that's not true. You know that's not true. I am the tail. No, you're the head. No, I'm the tail. No. And then there was this. Okay, this is one point in the movie that I have to comment on. The thing Obama said about Moses and Joshua. Okay, there's a thing that was omitted that he didn't fail to realize. But do you know what happened to most of the people who followed Moses to the promised land? I'm going to just say that most of those people didn't see the promised land. Most of the generation of Moses didn't see, actually, none of the generation of Moses' followers made it to the promised land. Only those who followed Joshua made it to the promised land. We want to know why? Because they were disobedient. Because they kept complaining. Because they exchanged God for an idol. They exchanged God for somebody else. That was not God. They were disobedient. He even said they were stiff-necked people. To a point, he said more. At one point, 130,000 people died at once because of their disobedience. When they sent 2 spies into to check out the other line, and they came back with a report. Some of them were too convinced. I don't remember this. I need to read it again. Some of the people came back and gave a negative report, and only 2 of them came with a positive one. And not to say there was consequences for the negative ones, but I'm telling you the truth. This is a reason why there's such a parallel between the Israelites of Egypt and now Egyptians and during the Old Testament and today. It's because everything sort of looks the same, except a little bit different. We are seeing what would happen if the Moses' era didn't die off before getting to the promised land. I'm gonna tell you what I'm observing. Let me tell you what I'm observing. People who are in the Moses era, we're gonna symbolism, aren't really seeing the milk and honey. They're living in it, but they're not seeing it. They're not seeing it, and they're slightly partaking of it, but not appreciating it as they should because of their disobedience. Because the same problems that they suffered, the same problems the Israelites of old were doing, is what we're doing today. Complaining, exchanging God for an idol, for man, or some man-made stuff. Disobedient, rejecting the truth for a lie. We exchange the provisions of God for man, the government. Thinking the government gonna provide for us. The government is not gonna do that. They don't have the money. They don't make their own money. That's the thing. Nothing is given for free. Whoever tells you that they're gonna give you something for free is lying to your face. Okay? Straight up consider a lie instantaneously. Technically speaking, nothing given for free. Not even Medicaid. How do you think Medicaid's paid for? Through your own taxes. Social Security, through your own taxes. Social Security is nothing but your own money. put aside to be given back to you later. Because technically, Social Security is. Um, Medicaid is somebody else's money paying on your behalf. Anything given to you for free has been paid for by somebody else. And that's usually a taxpayer. It's usually somebody sitting next to you. And maybe yourself too. Because this country was built for the people. To be by people. The establishment government was made by God and established by man. Because God knew that man could not rule on his own. Rule himself. It needs somebody to rule over it. Because if he left alone to his own devices, wickedness would increase. People are blind today. They think, oh, give me the guns and everything was good till the house gets broken into. They walk outside and get shot at, beat up by a gang of robbers and thieves, and they'll say, what? I need somebody to protect me. Oh, you the one? Nope, you ain't got nobody. More. I feel pity. I should say I feel pity, but for them, I sort of don't. Because they're reaping what they're sowing. They want to ignore their own problems to put it all on other people. And it's going to come back against them at some point more than reap what you sow, more than you sow, and come out what you sow. There's a harvest coming. It's not a good one. At least not for the people who chase after wickedness. It's not a good harvest. I can almost guarantee you that. What will come back to you is not good. And it'll be all on you. Yeah, I beg all those to read Romans. I think it's Romans or Matthews. Romans 13, 1 through 5. Kind of spells it all out for you right there. Everything you're supposed to do is in the Bible. Romans 1 through 5 kind of explains everything you need to know about government authority and the police. Everything. You follow those rules and you will never have any problems. I must say never. No problems would go down even further than it is now. But people rebel against this stuff. And opportunists. I ain't never have to worry about it. But even if somebody did, I wouldn't care. I don't really put people's opinion in high authority. I have confidence in myself. I know who I am. Everything I have accomplished, I accomplished because I fought for it and was blessed by God to get it. I could have made 1,000 excuses, but I didn't. Somebody told me I couldn't do something. I went and tried it. I went and did it. The story, I went to it in high school. Somebody told me, oh, you wouldn't survive being a football player. You wouldn't last long in football. And guess what? I went and tried out and made a football team. Somebody said I wouldn't last very long at this particular store I transferred to. I lasted 2 years. And it was a white old dude told me, well, he didn't tell me to my face. But he said, oh, you ain't gonna, I don't think that man gonna last very long. Now, I could have done a few things. I could have been mad. Oh, you're a racist and whatnot and whatnot and that. But I didn't. But instead, I decided to prove him wrong. I said, oh, really? Decided to prove him wrong. I ain't say nothing to him. But I didn't treat him no different than anybody else. See, this is the thing about loving your enemies and praying for them and not cursing them but blessing them. But I just work hard. And I lasted a year or two. And I said, lasted, I didn't get fired, and I just had to leave for a different reason. But he said, you know what he told me? He said, I was wrong. When I first met you, I thought you weren't going to last very long, but I was wrong. And you proved yourself. See, that's what you do. You go, if somebody says something bad or whatever you think is a negative, instead of letting that negativity take hold of you, you go out and you prove them wrong. You overpower that negativity with positivity. You don't just increase, let your feelings take over and do whatever. It ain't helpful. You just keep pushing ahead. That's probably the only time somebody ever said something negative that wouldn't share my skin color. Most of the time it was other black people who would say something that was like, I don't think you can do it. Like my main store manager, who was black, by the way, told me he didn't think I was going to last very long at that store. Mind you, I spent 7 or 8 years at his store. Almost 7 years at his store. Pushing carts outside for almost 7 years. I proved to myself that I'm a good worker and I can work hard. My time in that store was full of nonsense. Not all the time. There were some negatives and more positive than negative. But there were people in there saying I should have been moved inside a long time ago. It's harder. But you know when you're the leader of the group, the people, the big boss has negative energy and don't think you can do nothing. It's leading it. I had to move to get what I wanted to get to in Walmart. I had to literally move. I had to literally move and transfer stores to get what I wanted to get done. Because I know I wasn't going to get nowhere where I was at. Transferred. Got a job unloading trucks. Something. It wasn't my first pick, but at least it was inside. And I wasn't going to be picky. I did that. I was technical, a little bit out for myself. I can do it, but I pushed myself and I got it done. I proved that I can do it. When I can prove myself that I can do it, then I can do it. That's the rule. Then I transferred from there to the one in Virginia. Man, they appreciated my work. You can tell when a company appreciates your work based on how much work they give you. I had hardly any problems. I've been to every manager under the sun. I've been, wait, I can say it. There was at least one manager I didn't like at all. Shoot, she was a pain in my mind. But other than that, it was alright. There's store managers. I don't have much problem with either store managers. They didn't bother me. Other people might have had problems with them, but they didn't bother me at all. They just expected you to do the work and be about your business. But anyway, I will proceed. But like I said, the thing about what Obama said about the Moses era, wow, most of those people died. Okay, they didn't make it to the promised land. That was getting carried out. They did not make it to the promised land. I'm talking about the Israelites, the people he's referring to. The Israelites didn't make it to the promised land. The Moses era didn't make it to the promised land. It was the Joshua era that made it there because they were most obedient. I could see a little bit of that. I think there's a Moses era still existing, but they're the reason why they're stifled and they're stifled should say stifled in the progress they want to see is because they're too blinded by the past to see it, what the blessings that are surrounding them right now. And I think they're gonna be stuck that way. I'm sorry to tell you that they're gonna be stuck that way long as they keep focusing on the past and not the future. They're gonna be stuck not drinking, not being blessed by the blessings around them. And those who are not necessarily are conservative completely, but there are some on both sides who appreciate what's around them. It probably explains why they don't see as much, think it's as racist as they think it is, as others might think it is, because their eyes are not blinded by the past, and they're not focused what's on behind them. They're focused on what's in front or what's at their feet at the moment. It's not that they don't see it; they know it exists, and they know the reality. They don't dream about unrealistic reality. That unrealistic reality is there being zero racism. That's ridiculous. Because the devil still exists. Okay, that's plain. I'm putting it. The devil still exists. It would be unrational to think there's gonna be zero racism or zero police brutality. You can reduce it as much as you can. That's the point. To reduce it to almost non-existence. Almost. The fact that somebody has to tell you what's racist should tell you it's bounds and glory that racism is not that bad around in America. It's there, but it's not. Doesn't have teeth. If somebody has to explain to you what's racist or what's not racist, then obviously you either A, been sleeping, or B, it ain't that bad. And the racism that does is this doesn't really have any bearing on your life. It doesn't stop you from doing anything you want to do unless you let it. So what somebody says something bad about you don't like, you don't have to let it stifle your progress. People exaggerating facts to feel victimized. It's weird that you know every name of every person shot by the police. Every name you can list. Every person ever shot by the police. That should tell you something. If it was so bad, you wouldn't be able to number them. You wouldn't be able to name them. You would forget names. It's terrible that people get brutalized by the police. It's a very terrible thing. Something I learned in freaking college. Saw dozens of pictures of people who've been beat up by the police. I don't know the details of every case because, like I said, Romans 13, 1 through 5 probably got rid of half of those cases. Did Romans 13, 1 through 5. Read it, memorize it, and do it. You'll see a different picture. People want you to ignore the bigger problems. Matthew 23. How can you tell to your brother, take the log out your eye when you have a huge tree in your own? I keep changing the name. Let's actually read that scripture. I'm gonna get my phone from me. Here, under my face. I'm gonna read it directly. I'm gonna read the back one. Read the back. Okay. Sorry it's taking me so long. Oh, here we go. And then here we go. It's Matthew 7, verse. We're gonna do 1 through 5. Do not judge, or you too will be judged. But in the same way you judge others, you will be judged, and with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when you know all the time there's a plank in your own eye? You hypocrite. First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Many things. I totally forgot what. But there you have it. I want y'all to remember that. But that's. Anyway, how did I turn into this? Anyway, I'm supposed to be doing a review. Oh, and Uncle Tom. I want to know how to do it. This is sort of is part of the review. When talking about the truth, you must consider the Bible. When talking about the truth, you must consider the Bible. Whatever I think. I don't worship a person, place, or thing. But be sure this no president should be made into an idol. Whether it's Obama or Trump. They're a man prone to folly. When you can't even trust your media anymore. They tell a lot. They do nothing but lie and commit details and omit the truth. When all they do they not know that all you got to do a simple Google search of stuff they report on and find out the truth for themselves. But they know that the people will not do that. They know all they gotta do is write some catchy thing on the title, and they'll just read it and believe it. They don't expect people to actually research the stuff. They make them just eat it up and share it on social media. It becomes a thing. It's like blind sheep, just believing anything that flies in the air. But alas, what they have said, when people's, what I find in this movie is that mostly people share principles that are not just bound to conservatism, but actually bound to the Bible itself. Personal responsibility. And pushing forward. You don't have to be a conservative to be wealthy. Just follow the principles of the Bible. You don't have to be a Democrat to get wealthy. You just follow the principle of the Bible. There are Democrats who are wealthy, obviously. and so are conservatives wealthy. Now, some might get their wealth by other means, but nonetheless, we can't ignore these facts. Were these people rich based off of their own policies? No. They figured out a way to circumvent those policies in order to get wealthy. You ought to know this. The Democrats ain't gonna get wealthy off their own policies. They know this. That's why they know this. They figure out ways to circumvent their own policies ahead of time, so when they introduce it, it'll make it seem as though it's working. There ain't no way that anybody in the right mind is gonna be for higher taxes if they didn't have a way to avoid having to pay those higher taxes. Same with anything else. If there wasn't a way for them to avoid having to pay it, then they wouldn't be for it. Okay? They already have a loophole ready for themselves. Let me tell you this. If you want to apply everything in the word in the Bible to modern days, this would be what we see in today's society. You see people like this. So you must be careful to do everything. This is Jesus talking to a crowd and his disciples, and it's usually about hypocrisy. You must be the teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. They tie up heavy cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. Everything they do is is done for show, done for people to see, which they do. They make their phylacteries wide and their tassels of their garments long. They love the place of honor at banquets and the most important seats in the synagogue. They love to be greeted with respect in marketplaces and to be called rabbi by others. But you're not to be called rabbi, for you have one teacher, and you are all brothers. And do not call anyone our father, for you have one father, and he is in heaven. Nor are you to be called instructors, for you have one instructor, the Messiah. The greatest among you will be your servant. For those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Goes further and say, woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces, but you yourself would not enter, nor will you let those enter who are trying to. A lot of woes. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You travel over the land and sea to win a soon cover. When you have succeeded, you make them twice as much of the shadow of hell as you are. Woe to you, blind guides! You say if you swear, anyone swears by the temple, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gold of the temple is bound by that oath. You blind fools, which is greater, the gold or the temples that make the gold sacred? And you also say, if anyone swears by the altar, it means nothing. But anyone who swears by the gift on the altar is bound by that oath. Blind men, which is greater, the gift or the altar that makes the gift sacred? Therefore, anyone who swears by the altar swears by it, and by everything on it. And anyone who swears by the temple swears by it and the one who dwells in it. And anyone who swears by heaven swears by God's throne and the one who sits on it. Woe to you, teachers of law and Pharisees, you hypocrite! You give a tale of your spices, mint, and dill ain't coming, but you have neglected the more important matter of the law, justice, mercy, and for faithfulness. Yet you should have practiced the latter without neglecting the former. You blind guys, you strain out a gnat to swallow a camel. What's wrong? Goes on a lot. say that the Pharisees, the Pharisees said, yes. Woe to you, the teachers of the law and the Pharisees, you hypocrites! You clean out the outside of the cup and dish, but inside they are full of greed and self-indulgence. Blind Pharisees, first clean the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will also be clean. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. And it goes on from there. But you get my point. You see a lot of this in real life. Like, from Christians, from Congress, all the way up to leaders. They do everything to be seen by people. Look at me. Look at how unracist I am. I say I don't need to put on a show to show that I'm not racist. Or I don't need to put on a show that I'm not Uncle Tom or sell out. One, because I'm only loyal to God. Sorry. I wish. That's kind of good. Yeah, because you knew I'm tired. But not true, because if you were, you would. Like, if only that could get you. Only you could say that can be. You are. Well, no, you wish to be. You wish. But, kind of position too. Let's get. But anyway, let's get back to. So in the what I'm gonna say about this, everything that you said here is technically human principles, with a little bit of the Bible mixed in by maybe by accident or on purpose. But you should do things without trying to convert people. It's just I don't think this movie was about that. They're not trying to bring people to conservatism. I hope they're not. Well, yeah, teach his own. But I think the best strategy is to talk to people normally and make it clear that you're not trying to get them to come on either side. You just want to speak on the truth and let them make the decision on their own where their beliefs lie. And I think that's how you should do when voting. Evaluate yourself and what you think is important. To me, people operating on their feelings, emotional. They make laws based on their emotion. They make their claims or their outrage based off their emotions. And the problem with that is if everybody made laws based on how they feel, there'd be a lot of people in jail today or on death row. A lot of injustice would be happening. A lot of injustice would be happening because there'd be some people who feel like putting people on death row for no reason. Like, they're bipolar people who don't get their emotions in check. But the fact of the matter, you shouldn't always make judgments objectively. Within reason, considering all the evidence. Not just what you feel like and cherry picking it. That being said, this is really all I gotta say about Uncle Tom. Dude, don't worry about what people say about you. If they call you Uncle Tom, sell out or whatever else, they're ignorant. Okay, just know that they're ignorant and pray for them. Pray for their ignorance, because technically speaking, why can't people accept people's opinion without calling them a name? I don't understand this. they don't agree with you, then they don't have to agree with you. We're not a monolith. Which is true. They mentioned that. But you are more than what you have become. Like you are more than being black. Okay, that should not be your end all of your decision making skills. Okay? Your, your color is not alive. It's a that's what happens to be. You happen to be. Okay, it's what you were born with. Okay, but it's not a living thing. You can be the best of what you make your decisions on. You need to be an individual before you be a group. But I think people, it's not gonna reach everybody. It's not gonna reach everybody. Everybody's gonna be stuck in their ways. Some people are gonna be stuck in their ways, but you're gonna reach some people. You may convince some people, which I never don't expect to reach everybody. There's gonna be people stuck in their ways, stuck in their ideas. With that being said, this is Love Knows Best signing out. Be sure to love your neighbor and love everybody, even your enemies, because that's what the Bible commands.